Hey everyone, Brian with WorkshopAddict.com, and if you've been to the Home Depot lately, you've seen that there is a new Ridgid 10-inch miter saw that's being sold. The old model was made by Shervon, and this new 10-inch that's out with a 70-degree mitering capacity right and left is similar to the 12-inch that was out there that's made by TTI. Now the new model number of this saw is R4210, and they addressed some issues that they had in the early models of the 12-inch miter saw. They had some blade wobble that occurred in some of them, but that quickly went away as they figured out their problem and addressed it. This 10-inch has almost zero blade wobble and is an absolute monster. Now the capacities for this 10-inch saw are crazy, with a 90-degree crosscut at 2x12, a 45-degree crosscut at a 2x8. It can cut 6-inch baseboard standing up in nested crown at 6 5/8 inches. This thing is an absolute monster for power, and it's fun, smooth, and easy to use. Very impressive. One of the things that I like that they put on it is the LED light. I'm a big fan of the LED shadow line for the blade. It adjusts for different blade thicknesses, and there really is no adjustment to it. It simply comes in as a shadow and works well. I'm a fan of it. I know a lot of people like lasers. If you like lasers, sorry, this one doesn't have it. It goes both ways, I guess, on this. But this is about a 55-pound saw, so it's not overly heavy, but it's not overly light. For the power that you're getting, it's excellent. What we're gonna do here is start from the beginning, go through and do everything you should when you first get it. Check everything for square, and then kind of go through some power tests, show you what it can do, and then walk through the saw at the end. So when you get the saw home, the first thing you want to do is obviously check the fences for being square up and down. You want to make sure that you make a couple cuts on some good wood that, not dimensional lumber. Get out some good finished carpentry wood. Check for a 90-degree cut. If you don't have that 90-degree cut, you can cut both sides, do whatever you need to. Make sure that you adjust the fence. It's very simple by just pulling off the fence extensions, and there are 2 Allen bolts down there. Simple to adjust. Ours was pretty much spot on, so we just went with it and started checking out the 45-degree angles, started checking out the 31.6, going between all the detents and just making sure that the saw was perfect as we wanted it. And it came out extremely accurate. Now, there's very little head deflection in this saw, and it works great even though you have some really long arms that are here. The one thing that I would say that you need to look out for while you're cutting, especially larger lumber, is the buildup of any sawdust where these arms connect to the head. That can stop you from going back all the way. We had a little bit of it happen. It's just when they're new out of the box, they have a little bit of oil on them, and they like to collect that sawdust in that area. So when you're done using the saw, make sure you look at that. This saw also has a depth stop on it, which can be turned on and turned off very quickly. It adjusts right on the top, either by hand or with the Torx bit. Works great. But the real thing that I think stands out for a 10-inch saw like this is the 2x12 cut, in the power that it has even with the original blade. That cut is just smooth. It goes through even if you bevel at a 45-degree angle. That's a lot of wood that this saw is cutting, and it just rips right through it. No bogging, great sounding motor and everything. The only thing that Ridgid kind of brags about is their blade brake. And it works well, but it's still a little slow on the braking. We started playing a little bit more with some 2x8s and some compound miters, just testing a little bit more of how the power is going to be, how the saw is going to react, how smooth it is. And I'll tell you, the saw is incredibly smooth. It's excellent to use, and it's a joy to actually go through and cut with. You don't feel like it's bogging at all, and the stock blade that's with it just feels like butter going through a lot of the dimensional lumber. It even did well with oak. So we started to, I have not done many 70-degree cuts, and I get it. You're going to see or need them once in a while in construction. I personally don't see it. I guess maybe some stairs, some awkward angles as to how rooms would be cut, but I wanted to try it out with the 2x8. We didn't quite make it through it, but that gave us an opportunity to stack up 2 2x8s and go through them at a 90 Again, just testing power. Again, stock blade, butter. Very, very little resistance. You could probably go as fast as you wanted and rip through that wood. To make a good cut, you just go nice and easy, and it's working excellent. From there, I wanted to cut a 4x4 and just say, okay, this is just one of their cut capacity issues. It's the same as stacking up some 2x8s, no issue. This thing is great. We changed the blade up on it to a higher tooth blade, started going through some trim, and it's amazing. It actually cut the trim great. The 4,500 RPM no load speed that it has is right there. Using it is simple. And I go back to, I really, really love the LED shadow line. It gives me a precise place where I'm going to cut. You can cut paper thin wedges out of it, and it just works awesome. Adjusting it's great. I can't say enough good about this saw, so let's bring it in and really go through what the saw has and how it works. Operations in the front of the saw are very simple. Your table extensions have a push button so they can slide all the way out. They only need to go all the way out like that if you're in the 70-degree cut. You can slide each side out, and from there you have a standard this detent on the front. If you lift this up, there's a button to push that'll allow you to slide this around without the detents. If you just push the button, it'll go to 15 degrees, 22.5, 31.6, 45, and then you'll hit here, unless you go all the way over, the detent's at 60, 67.5, and again, it'll go all the way to 70, but you have to move the fences out on both sides. So nice detent settings that they have around each side. They're both the same, but if you want to turn off the detents, there is a small switch here that you can push down, and it'll slide through without stopping, giving you that small click, letting you know that you went past one. If you want to unlock the head from its down position, just push down, pull out that lever in your slide lock. This thing really slides nice. It's not gritty. Everything works good. The fences move easily. The one thing that I found odd with the fences are that they come out in the stock forward position. You slide them out, they don't come out. You get to the end and you're stuck. Pull forward all the way and they come out. That works well, but I'm used to them coming out at the end rather than coming out right at the beginning. The handle on this saw is very comfortable with the safety switch that you just pull over towards the saw blade. So right-handed, you'd use your pointer finger, left-handed, you'd use your pinky. It works great either way. This is the switch to turn on or off the LED light that gives you the shadow line. That LED light remains on if this is in the on position all the time while it is plugged in. The depth stop is easy to use by just sliding that lever out, and then you can adjust it and lock it into place. Simple, and it's easy in, easy out. The back of the saw has a nice dust bag back here that worked really well while we're using it. You also have your bevel adjustment and a detent lock. Now this detent lock is basically a lever. You push it up and it'll open you up to moving around. And if you leave it, it'll stop at the next detent. If you do not want any detents to work at all, push it the other way and it'll slide back and forth. But the detents are very solid and very accurate. Changing the blade on this saw is very simple. There's an Allen wrench that's located in the back handle. There's not a way to lock the blade guard up into place, which would be nice. But other than that, this is just a very simple, straightforward blade change with the arbor lock being on the right-hand side of the blade. If you're going to use this saw to cut base or crown that is nested, slide the saw fully in, lift up on this lever and slide the saw out until it clicks into place. That'll lock it into its chop saw position. Lock the slide lock, and then you can use this basically as a chop saw and get very accurate cuts. When looking how smooth this saw works and everything that you have inside this saw for a good price, you can tell that there was a lot of competition as to what company, either Shervon or TTI, was going to get the contract for the 10-inch Ridgid miter saw with Home Depot. Now I have to say flat out, I think this has probably been the best Ridgid miter saw that we've ever seen come through our shop. It's smooth, it works well, it's got the LED shadow line. Everything here was great. If I had to knock it for one thing, and I don't think that this is a big deal, it's just something that I'd get used to, it's these upper fences, and I think that you have that type of situation with these fences due to the 70-degree miter. But other than that, this thing worked flawlessly. We enjoyed it. I enjoy almost everything about it, including the way they have the safety on the trigger. So if you're looking for a new miter saw, you might find the old 10-inch miter saw on sale at Home Depot if it's still around, or this new model 4210 is probably going to be the one that you'll find in stock. Don't be afraid of the blade wobble. That's been fixed. I know that sometimes we come out with reviews on early models and some of them have some issues, but man, I'll tell you, this model is set in stone and works great. So please subscribe to our channel and give us a like in this video. Leave some comments below and we'll get back to them as soon as we can. Thank you for your time. Have a great day.